So part of this journey is really acknowledging our history. Our people have been abused. This is abuse from the government, the ones who are supposed to protect us. It was the church that used this power, and people who were not all good people use this power to hurt us. And this is what abuse is. So we need to acknowledge that our survivors survived severe, horrific abuse. And when you can look at it through that lens, you can start to build some compassion. And healing really involves compassion. It really involves changing our mindsets, right? And we don't need to forget. But in order to heal ourselves, we need to acknowledge this has happened. And we need to change the narrative to us being strong and resilient. That's what we need to look at this as. Our people are so strong to have survived horrific abuse. Our people are so resilient to keep our culture alive, even though they tried to find every way to kill our culture. It survived. Those survivors, they carried it with them. They shared it. Even though they'd been programmed to have shame, they've been programmed to feel fear about our culture, about our language, about participating in it, about sharing it. So our people are strong, our people are resilient, our people are brave. And if we can think about those survivors in that way, we can start to think, okay, let's break this cycle. Let's realize to heal, we need to let go of this shame. To heal, we need to embrace our identity and be proud. And the hard truth is, we all live with this intergenerational trauma passed down. And I know some of the survivors had a lot of trauma, no way to process it. And instead of passing down unconditional love, they didn't receive that in school. They only received abuse and fear. And to be programmed that way, to not grow up in a nurturing environment with parents to fill you with unconditional love, it would be a struggle to become a parent and not know how, and to feel shame about yourself. And because you become so programmed, this abuse just gets passed down because we don't know any other way. That doesn't make it okay. We can't change that. But if you're here and you're ready to heal and you're open to changing the way we live, changing the way we think, we need to change this. We are the victims, but we're no longer taking on that label. We're taking on the label of cycle breakers. We're breaking these cycles. We're saying enough. We know that this was put on us by the government and the church to face that big of a machine. Seems crazy, but what can we do? What we can do is show compassion for each other, heal ourselves. We need to look inward. We can take accountability for our parts that we played in passing our trauma down, and we can say that this is enough. We no longer want to be these people. We were never meant to be these people. I believe our culture, I believe spirituality revolved around love. Love for oneself, love for the environment, love for nature, for spirituality, love and respect for each other. Those are not the traits passed down in residential school. Chaos and trauma looks like hate, anger, jealousy, judgment, gossiping, all lateral violence. That's not our people's way. That's the colonized way that they pushed on us. That's the trauma. That's the intergenerational trauma coming out. And we can say this is enough. We're not going to be these people anymore. Can you imagine how strong we can all be if we heal ourselves and change our mindsets and build our cultures back up? That's the dream. That's what I'm sharing this for. And it begins with forgiveness. It begins with compassion. It begins with compassion for those little children who were abused. It begins with forgiveness for ourselves and taking accountability for how we act. Nobody's perfect. And if you've ever experienced trauma and abuse, you know that your brain gets rewired and you become someone you don't recognize. You become someone you don't love. We need to forgive ourselves. And we do that by looking at our history. We do that by showing ourselves compassion. We do that by not letting our trauma have power over us. It's a beautiful thing when we can take accountability and when we can reflect. Nobody is saying that we're forgiving people for the hurt that they did to us. What we're saying is we're forgiving ourselves and we are no longer participating in being this type of person anymore. That's what healing is deciding to do better every single day. Showing up for our kids every single day. Not having explosive reactions every single day. And nobody's going to be perfect. That's why healing is a continuous journey. All we can do is do our best every single day.